Hey there, in this video we are going to write some programs on arrays. So let's quickly get started. So the first problem statement is something like this. Write a program to print all negative elements in an array. So let's quickly get started. This is very simple and very straightforward problem statement. So let's say we have an array of type float and let's say its name is ARR. Okay. we are always naming our arrays as ARR, but it's not mandatory to name your array as ARR. You can give literally any name. So let's put some positive as well as negative numbers inside this array. So I'm using initializer list to initialize my array. So let's initialize it with like 1 minus 1.2, then minus 2.3, then minus 4, then 5 point something, then let's say minus 5.8, minus 4.2, plus 8 point something, let's say, and like we can add any number of elements. All right, let's say this is our array. Okay, now what we just need to do is we need to print this array, but we just need to make sure that we are printing only negative elements. Okay, we are not printing the positive elements. It's very simple. Let's first calculate this number of elements which are present in this array programmatically, so we know how we can calculate the number of elements. So we just have to use size of ARR, and we need to divide this size of ARR with size of a single element of the array. So we'll write size is equal to size of ARR divided by size of ARR of 0. So in this way we'll get how many number of elements are present in this array. Alright, now let's write a for loop which will start from 0, because index of an array starts from 0. It will go till size, okay, and then in every iteration we'll increment I by 1. Alright, now over here usually what we do is we write cout ARR of I in order to print element of an array on the screen. This is what we do. All right, now over here there is one small twist. Okay, what we just need to do is we don't need to print all the elements on the screen, we just need to print negative elements. So we'll just add one condition over here, one if condition. So we will say if ARR of I, if it is less than 0, that means it is negative, then and then only we have to print it on the screen. Otherwise we don't need to print it. This is the only condition that we'll add, and that's it. I mean, if we add this condition, we are telling the compiler that print the array element on the screen only when your array element is negative. All right, let's see whether it works correctly or not. So I'll clear the terminal, let's compile this code and let's execute this. You can see it is printing all the negative elements on the screen, so it works properly. What you can do is after this for loop you can just write endl, so that once we print this thing, this next command prompt will go to the new line. All right, so that's it. So if I'll compile and run it once again, you can see endl is taking an effect. All right, so yeah, in this way you can solve the first problem statement. It was not a problem actually, it's very simple, straightforward statement. All right, let's go to the next problem statement. See, in the next problem statement what we have to do is we have to write a program to print sum of all array elements. Okay, this is also very simple. So this is the first video, so I'm taking simple problem statements. In the next video we'll increase the difficulty level a little bit. All right, so let's say we have an array ARR. Let's initialize it. Let's say 1 2 3 4. Okay, this is our array. Now what we need to do is we need to calculate sum of all elements. So in this case 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, and 6 plus 4 is 10. So the answer should be 10, because in this case the sum of all the elements of an array comes out to be 10. Now if you remember, in one of the previous video, I think in looping statements module, we have seen a program where we were calculating sum of all digits in a number. Okay, so this is a very similar program. See, these are the individual elements of an array, we just need to calculate their sum. So it's very similar to calculating sum of digits of a number. So if you remember over there, what we were doing is we were creating a sum variable and we were initializing it with 0. Okay, we were initializing it to 0 because if you add anything to 0, 0 don't have any effect. Okay, so that's why we were initializing sum to 0, and then we write a for loop to traverse the array. So again we'll need to calculate the size of the array, so let's do that. So I'll write size is equal to size of ARR divided by size of 0. not size of 0, size of ARR of 0. Okay, in this way we'll get the size. So this for loop will start from again index 0, it will go till size. Okay, and now inside this for loop, see what we'll do is we'll get individual element of an array using ARR of I. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to calculate the sum using the old value of sum. So what I'll do is I'll write sum is equal to sum plus array of I. So what will happen, the sum will get updated with old value of sum plus the element. Okay, so let's say initially the sum will be 0, initially your I will be 0, so 0 plus array of 0, so array of 0 is 1, so 0 plus 1 is 1, so your sum will become 1. Now in the next iteration your I will be 1, sum is 1, 1 plus ARR of 1, ARR of 1 is nothing but 2, so 1 plus 2 is 3, so your sum will become 3. Then in next iteration your I will become 2, 3 plus ARR of 2, so ARR of 2 is nothing but 3, so it will be 3 plus 3, so your sum will become 6. So in this way your sum will be updated, and finally the sum will become 10. So once your sum becomes 10, or once this for loop gets over, we can print the sum value or sum on the screen. So I'll write cout sum is equal to, and let's print value of sum followed by ENDL. Alright, that's it. Let me comment this code, because in one file we can have only one main function, that is the rule. So I commented the other code. Now let's clear the terminal and let's compile and execute this code once again. You can see we are getting sum as 10. Okay, so if I add one more element to it, let's say 5, we don't need to make any change in our rest of the code, because we have written our code in such a way that it will work dynamically. Okay, we don't need to make any change below this line. So in this case the sum should be 15. Let's see, you can see sum is coming as 15, and let's say if I just put one element over here, then in this case sum should be 1. Let's see whether the sum comes out to be 1. You can see sum comes out to be 1. So in this way the code works correctly. In this way you can calculate sum of all the elements of an array. So I hope you are clear with this simple code, and see you in the next video where we'll explore few more codes on array.